This segment brought to you by Heinen Brothers Ag, farmers helping farmers by offering quality aerial and ground application, fertilizer, ag chemicals, and anhydrous ammonia. Call today to protect your crop yield.
Thanks for staying with us. Next, Tom discusses the work the U.S. Grains Council does for producers.
Duane Toews joining you once again with AGam in Kansas, and a chance to catch up with U.S. Grains Council President Tom Slate. And Tom, we get the opportunity to discuss what the U.S. Grains Council does, and certainly a lot of good work that they're doing as far as providing an opportunity to get some value out of those crops that we produce here in the U.S.
Yeah, absolutely, Duane. We at U.S. Grains Council operates all around the world, magnifying the investment farmers make in their own checkoff investments to representation around the world. 10 offices, another 10 to 20 consultants around the world. What we do is we represent farmers' interest in terms of corn, sorghum, barley, and co-products, DDGs, ethanol, and starch, and everything else.
It's an interesting scenario where we're blessed that the producer in the U.S. has the ability to produce out far and above from what we use domestically. But that being the case, those international markets are extremely important.
Yeah, Duane, here at the Commodity Classic, everybody reminds me of that all the time. They've got three great crops in a row. People look for another one this year. They want to have new homes for those markets, and that means new markets, can maintain the old ones, build new ones, value-added markets. That's the assignment for the U.S. Grains Council, and we're going after it hard.
We think about those relationships that it takes. It's interesting in the world market. It's not all about price. Price is important, but having relationships with those buyers is awfully important.
I know a lot of parents out there tell their kids all this all the time. The world belongs to those who show up. Well, the Grains Council shows up for American farmers 24/7, 365 in terms of talking to customers, having a year-round dialogue with customers on planting, season, growing season, harvest season. What's going on with U.S. agricultural, commodity movements, freight movements. All those things can happen all year round. Trade doesn't just happen. It happens to those who are there talking to customers, answering their questions, meeting their needs.
Obviously, I'm assuming that the U.S. Grains Council would be looking favorably upon Trans-Pacific Partnership to get some additional footage into that Asian nations.
It's only TPP is only important to those who produce food and to people who eat 3 meals a day. It is incredibly important for U.S. agriculture. TPP, it gives us that access to those overseas markets that helps us maintain current trade and build future trade. We have gains already that we see for bulk commodity grains in terms of Vietnam. Meat, we see pick up in various countries like Japan. And other places, but even more so, it allows us to differentiate ourselves from the competition. In mainly cases, that's Brazil, who's not part of the TPP. So, having these trade agreements allows us to have a firm understanding foundation for trade, particularly when we have battles over sanitary and phytosanitary issues like biotechnology.
We often talk about those trade agreements and the opportunities. They only work if they're enforced in terms of some of those mechanisms.
You're absolutely right. And so what we always looked for is that the folks that lobby take care of getting these agreements passed. It's the Grains Council's responsibility to make sure these agreements are implemented fairly and implemented thoroughly. That's the hardest part about these trade agreements is the implementation phase. We've got the negotiation phase done. We've got the passage phase next. Implementation phase awaits us, and the folks for U.S. Grains Council all around the world are ready to pounce on that stage.
Talking a little bit about where your funding comes from, I know that Kansas Corn has been a good supporter of U.S. Grains Council for a long time.
Kansas Corn has been a great supporter of the U.S. Grains Council. And what we like to do is take that investment the Kansas farmer makes in their checkoff, leverage it through a great public-private partnership program through the U.S. Department of Agriculture's Foreign Agricultural Service, through 2 programs, the MAP, Market Access Program, Foreign Market Development Program, to magnify their investments to allow us to have that type of global presence Kansas farmers need.
Our thanks to Tom Slate, U.S. Grains Council, joining us here at Commodity Classic. Jamie, we'll send it back to you.
Thanks, Duane. Stay with us after the break for a look at how cattle premiums filter back from beef consumers to beef producers.
I'm a patient of Kansas Regenerative Medicine in Manhattan. I had stem cell therapy in my hips and my left knee. My wife and I both are patients. We went down there the same day in November. Since then, my hips are feeling a lot better. I can work now most of the day if I want to. And before, if I worked in the morning, I was done in the afternoon, or if I worked in the afternoon, I was sure enough done for the rest of the day.